We're live.
Hey, it's a feel good Friday. How are you? I'm Paul Sullivan, man to my side, I should say, next to me, Jaime Lopez. How you doing, Jaime?
Doing pretty good.
I'll tell you what, a feel good Friday, and our boss man slash play around guy. You know, it's funny. Billy calls me part time Paul sometimes. Where's he at? Where is he at? He's in Miami. That's where Billy is. No, he's I'm going to say this loosely. He's working.
Visiting.
He's working. No, he's visiting some dealers. So he actually is working, but yeah, he's not stupid. You know, normally he does that. He ties in going to see. You ever notice he goes to see dealers like on Thursdays and Fridays?
Yep.
And it always rolls into the weekend. You know, I mean, flies his plane, you know, and he's like, oh, I'm working. But yet I tell you, by late this afternoon, I don't think he's going to be working. I think he's going to be doing this kind of stuff that we're going to be talking about. But welcome to the show, a Feel Good Friday edition here on March the 12th. I forgot until I walked in the studio. I just thought about this, that St. Patrick's Day is coming up. And so I won't have a show again before St. Patrick's Day. I was going to wear some green, but that's okay. Got my Cubby blue on. You can see Chi-Town. And my Cubs hat. Baseball season up and running, at least in spring training, and my Cubs are doing pretty well, so that's always fun. So, what, Jaime? What's something that what's one of the favorite things that you like when with the warm weather coming?
Going to the beach.
Going to the beach. Should have went with Billy. You could have been, working. Working with Billy, and then gone to the beach. So, when you go to the beach, what's something that what's the common pattern for Jaime Lopez when it's beach time?
Just go and enjoy the outdoors.
So, I mean, are you one of those that just lounges on the beach? You just lay out?
No, just go walk with family or
walk
whatnot.
the beach. Okay. Do you fish when you're at the beach?
No, I don't fish.
Okay, so no fishing at the beach.
Fishing.
Okay, so I know one thing that's definitely at the beach is beer drinking. So we're gonna go straight into. I'm gonna give Smith a little bit of heads up, just a little, just a slow. There it is. There it is. My beer of the week. So we're gonna talk about this. The beer of the week is actually it's brewed out of Atlanta. And it's called Sweetwater, is the company, Sweetwater Brewing Company. And but you can see right there on the label that it's Sweetwater Blue. And notice that it is very close, very close. It's not exactly the same, but it's very close to my Cubby Blue. So I'm just saying, there may have been a connection. Darker. May have been a connection. But no, this is brewed in Atlanta. And it's actually a really cool beer. It's it's a pull tab, so you don't want to pull a Smith and like rip your hand open trying to open up the pull tab.
All the time.
He struggled with that a little bit, but no, this is actually brewed in Atlanta, and it's called Sweetwater Blue. It's a blueberry wheat ale, but it's really light. Now, if you smell it, see how you can barely smell blueberries. So like I've had some blueberry beers that are like when you smell it, it smells like fresh blueberries. It's very strong and kind of overwhelming in some cases. This is not overwhelming at all. It's really more of like a hint. So I mean, could you smell just a little bit of it?
I could smell the blueberry.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just just a slight hint, and so it's not overwhelming at all. But it's a light beer or a lighter. It's not a light beer. It doesn't mean light in calories. It's not a light beer that way. But it's a lighter, kind of an easier drinking. So this would be something good for the beach. So cheers.
Cheers.
So we got Sweetwater again, a Georgia beer, Sweetwater Blue.
You can't even taste the blueberry.
You can't. Mm-mm. Okay, so I was gonna say, I mean, there's just a slight. I mean, it's a slight hint. I can taste it. But I mean, it's not overwhelming. This is not a fruit beer because some of them that are out there, again, I've had some where it's like, it's really overpowering, almost like they put like a blueberry flavoring in it instead of real blueberries. Well, this is actually made with real blueberries. So go check it out. If you're in the area now, I know my northern friends, family and friends, you guys probably won't be able to get Sweetwater because I think it's only available in the Southeast.
We can ship them to them.
We could. I could have Billy, I could go up and work, with Billy. We could fly some up in the plane, what we could do. But anyway, hey, we got some things to talk about today. Before we get going, my mom, good morning, Mom. She's always, Mary Sullivan Moore. She's always watching the show. Got a chance to talk to her this past week. It's been a couple weeks. I kind of dropped the ball. I hadn't called my mom.
You haven't called your mom, Paul?
Yeah, so I know I did this week, but I hadn't in a couple weeks. So she was kind of starting to get worried about me. So she was like, are you okay? Are you doing all right? I watched the show and you seem like you're doing fine, but I don't like that drinking in the morning. So, you can see in Chicago, I mean, they're an hour early. So it is 11 a.m. So it is morning, theoretically.
It's close to lunch.
And in Chicago, it's 10 a.m., and so, but the old saying, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing on the show.
I've seen several people start drinking around 9 o'clock in the morning. Like
those day drinkers.
Yes. Especially on Saturdays.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's usually like the, fishermen are doing that usually, not all fishermen, but if they're out there real early, I mean, as soon as they're on the water, man, they're popping something open. So, whether it's, 7 a.m. or 7 p.m., if they're fishing, once they hit the water, they're usually doing that. But I was thinking about this the other day. Actually, I actually read an article and it was just kind of bizarre to me. So I wanted to see, you're much younger than me. So how old are you now?
24.
Okay. And I'm way older than 24. But I'm older than Jaime, quite a bit older,
Oh, yeah.
Older than 50. How about that? Now, but this was odd to me. So I'm curious, someone your age, if this was not or was a thing when you were younger, or just, maybe again, you're already young. So, so here's the thing. And then Smith, you're in your late 20s, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to see what you guys' reaction to this. So I was reading this article and they were talking about easy snacks, to make, and like for people with kids or like bachelors, that don't want to cook and all this kind of stuff. So easy snacks. Okay. Easy to make snacks. Now, I didn't realize that this was a trend now. This is a trend. All right. So hang on. This is a trend now. To me, as a kid, this was just not really special at all. But so I'm curious, have you guys ever had, all right, the saltine crackers that you buy, little squares, right? Just like regular crackers that, that you buy in the box.
Yep.
Okay. Saltine crackers. Have you guys ever had buttered, like just put butter, on a saltine cracker and that is your snack, like, like a bunch of them on a plate? Have you guys ever had that as a snack?
Mm-hmm. I've had the crackers. I would cut up cheese and I'd put them on there.
Yeah. Cheese. Okay.
Cheese, yeah.
That to me sounds like a snack, and so how about you, Smith? Did you ever have the buttered, butter on saltines?
I've never done the butter. I've done the cheese, the tuna, the oysters, like oysters with hot sauce. I don't think I've ever done just butter.
I mean, now again, when I was a kid, and maybe this is like a poor man, like as a kid, it was a cheap snack. I mean, it was very cheap. So I had those as a kid, but at the same time, I didn't really think it was like, an exciting snack. It was something that you get when there was nothing else. In fact, I always thought the way to dress up the saltine was with the spray cheese, like the cheese in the can.
Oh yeah,
they spray out. You're like, now that was always pretty good.
Yeah,
But I mean, let's be honest. Now, who in their right mind is picking a saltine over a Ritz cracker? Anyone?
Well, I was gonna say those like chicken in a box crackers.
Oh,
those with
chicken
cheese.
and a biscuit.
Chicken and a biscuit.
Yeah,
That's it. That's
well,
it.
they are theoretically in a box, so you're sort of right there.
I do
Chicken
that
and a
a
biscuit
lot.
in a box.
Have you tried the tostada with cheese on it, like melted cheese?
It's a cracker?
No, it's a tostada. It's
Well, yeah. Okay,
like,
yes.
They sell the tostadas, and then what I would do for a snack is I would put the cheese on top of it, heat it up for 10 seconds, and then
quick and easy. Yeah, that's
Quick and
the
easy.
good stuff.
That's
See,
good.
so I mean, like a saltine with butter on it, that's almost like a punishment. It just feels like, here, this is all you get. You've been bad today. Maybe that's why my mom gave it to me. I don't know, man. Maybe I was bad that day.
But sometimes you just have to eat what you got,
That's it. Well, that was the weird thing was out. This article is talking about how that this buttered saltine is becoming a trend. Like it's very trendy, and people are, I love buttered saltines, and I'm just like, really?
I do like to see how good I can get like a really cheap snack or food, like ramen, for example. You can get those like dollar packs of ramen or cheaper, right? But if you leave out the flavor packet they use your own like I don't ever know how to say that word.
Bouillon.
Like add a small piece of garlic and then crack an egg in it and boil it near the end for like a minute. Oh, man, you can turn a thing of ramen into something really good.
Smith, he's making fancy ramen.
Well, it's so cheap too.
Yeah, no, it is. That's really cheap.
Hey, Paul, they're pointing out your age on Facebook out there.
Hey, now. Hey. Well, Chuck can say that because Chuck is my age. I went to school with Chuck. What's up, Chuck? How you doing, man? I went to high school with him. Again, this is the beauty of Facebook. You get to see friends that you get to stay in touch, I should say, with friends that normally you wouldn't see so you wouldn't really be able to communicate or or catch up with. So it's been a lot of fun seeing all my high school friends and people I've worked with in different states. I've lived in several different states, worked in different places, things like that. So that's definitely the beauty of Facebook. So yeah, 50, not quite. That's coming up in May. Thank you, Chuck. Don't push it now. I mean, I'm 53. Thank you. But yeah, and now my mom says that she actually still eats crackers with butter. So
I'm gonna have to try that.
Well, I mean, again, it's not really. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't like it. I'm just saying that it wouldn't be my go-to. Like, ooh, I can't wait to get home and have crackers and butter. It just doesn't really do it for me. I mean, again, I've had it, but I had saltines with cheese like 4 days ago. 4 days ago. Just like American cheese, the little square, and you just fold it, make little four little squares and put it on a cracker. I mean, I had that the other night. So my older sister Barb, she says gross. So I'm hoping that she's talking about the buttered saltines and not the cheese and crackers. So all right. So Smith, your chicken in a box, as you called it, but chicken in a biscuit in a box crackers. Those are one of your favorites.
Yeah, for sure. Those with the with just regular canned cheese. The one you were talking about, you can kind of spray out and create the little formation.
What do they call that? What is that spray cheese? What's the brand? I can't. Anyone know? Can anyone help me out with that? What's the spray cheese?
Easy cheese.
Is it easy cheese?
Easy cheese.
I don't know why I thought it was called something else when I was younger. They may have changed the name. I can't.
Yeah,
remember.
that one's by
Easy
Kraft.
Cheese?
By Kraft, I believe.
Kraft Easy Cheese.
Yes,
That's what it's called.
Indeed.
That doesn't sound the same to me, but again, maybe they changed the name.
I've never had that one before.
You've never had the spray cheese in a can?
Mm-mm.
I mean, it's basically like Cheese Whiz. Have you ever had Cheese Whiz in the jar?
Cheese Whiz in the jar. I don't think so.
It's like nacho, like the cheese you get with nachos, the run, like the runny cheese, like that kind of cheese. So, but it's in a can, so you can squirt it like whipped cream. Like whipped cream in a can when you squirt it out. So it's cheese, so I mean, it comes out like in a string and, that type of thing. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So it's, but yeah, that was always kind of that was always a treat when I was a kid. We didn't really buy the spray cheese. So when we did, it was kind of, ooh,
Is this it? I pulled it up behind you.
Oh, I mean, that's it, but I do not remember that being called easy cheese. I thought it was called something else.
Maybe it's changed over the years.
Yeah. It could have been. Maybe it's changed over the years, like I have. A little bit. Just changed a little bit. So, all right. So, Smith, as far as the chicken and a biscuit in a box cracker,
yes,
what you were talking about. So, do you eat them straight out of the box, or do you have to put something on them?
I can eat them straight out of the box. They're still good that way to me.
Okay. So, and what about you? Do you have like a favorite cracker? I mean, by the way, this wasn't my direction. But that's okay. That's what happens. You start talking and things happen.
See.
You're like a favorite cracker.
Favorite cracker. Does Ritz count?
Yeah.
Ritz.
So Ritz. I mean, Ritz is like, to me, that's like the gold standard. It's like everybody. I don't know anybody that doesn't like a Ritz. Seriously.
I can make like the Ritz sound. It's like Ritz it's like a cookie.
Yeah, the two Ritz.
Two Ritz.
Yeah, one on top, one on the bottom.
Yep. I put ham and cheese, and I would eat the Ritz.
Yeah, little sandwiches.
Sandwiches.
Yeah, that's the good stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Not butter on a saltine. I mean, we need to make Jaime snack trending. That should be the go-to. However, I just thought about this. Smith. Have you ever put cheese and ham in between the chicken and a biscuit and a box cracker?
I don't think I've done that. I think I've done that with those little like snack packs you can get at Walmart.
Snack packs.
Yeah, those little
where you peel the top, it's got the little cheese, the little square cheese
they're
with like 4 crackers in it.
Yeah, they're like kids snack packs. Every once in a while when I was at Walmart, I'd eat one of those for lunch.
You had that last week, didn't you?
No.
When I was a kid, you had that last week.
No, I'll admit it's a kid snack. I've had it recently. Not that recently.
I still eat it too sometimes.
Now, my sister Barb, she just said, now if it's got peanut butter on it, see, and that changes the saltine. I mean, dramatically.
Yes.
Now if it's peanut butter on a saltine, now we're talking. That I can eat. But I mean, butter on a saltine. Again, I've had it, and it's not that it's gross. It's just not something I would look forward to.
So how about peanut butter sandwich with honey?
I did not know about that until about 10 years ago. Seriously, and it was my grandson wanted it. He wanted peanut butter and honey, and I had never even heard of that, but I did taste it, and I got to say it was pretty good.
Yeah, I like it.
It was pretty good. Yeah, I was a peanut butter and jelly. Because again, I didn't think about honey. In fact, I don't even know if we even had honey when I was a kid. I mean, like in our house, I know it was around. It was, but I mean, I don't even think that my mom bought honey that I recall, using honey for anything. Did you ever have peanut butter and honey sandwiches?
Peanut butter, honey sandwiches. I don't think so.
So I know you had peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly is the spot right there.
Yeah, I mean that's a standard thing. So what kind of jelly? What kind of flavored jelly was your go-to? What'd you like the best?
Grape.
I was just gonna say, I'm like most people, I would say like probably 90% of people are gonna say grape or strawberry. So Smith, which way were you leaning?
I probably like mixed berry better than anything. But
he's a trailblazer. That's what he is. He walks to the beat of his own drum, or marches to the beat of his own drum, or walks down his own road, or whatever one of those cliches
It's the same way. Like every time I go to Huddle House or something like that, I always go for the mixed berry instead of. I mean, I like the grape. Don't get me wrong, and the strawberry, but mixed berry is where it's at.
Mixed berry is where it's at. You heard it here. According to Smith, mixed berry at the Huddle House is where it's at.
That's right.
So I'm curious. I just brought up a whole nother thing going on here. Smith, when you go to the Huddle House, do you have to like order do you have to order something off the menu and order it special, or do you have to order, what do you order typically when you go to Huddle House?
If I go to Huddle House, typically it's either like one of those big omelets with like extra cheese and jalapenos and mushrooms. I will add a lot to that. Other than that, usually, just one of the big platters with pancakes, bacon, grits, toast. Way too much.
Can eat.
This is a big problem. If I go to Huddle House, I will pig out 99.9% of the time.
So I mean, basically, Smith doesn't really eat much here. Like when he comes to work, or we see him or whatever, he doesn't really eat much. But now there's two situations that he's going to eat a lot. Obviously, one he just explained. Huddle House. He goes to the Huddle House. He's going to pig out. The other way is if you're picking up the bill. If someone else is paying, he is pigging out. Just ask Billy.
It's true.
By the way, my northern friends, Huddle House is basically Waffle House. They're basically the same thing. Because I know someone like, what's Huddle House? My mom's red raspberry. Now I do have to say that's pretty dang good. I do like raspberry jelly. Now, when we were kids, see, this is the difference. I'm gonna pick on my mom a little bit too. When we were kids, we didn't have a choice. It was like whatever my mom bought and whatever my mom gave us, that's what we had. See, we didn't have red raspberry jelly when I was a kid. See, we always had like the cheap grape or strawberry. Well, no, I shouldn't even say. No, I will savor on this. We didn't have the cheap. Like it wasn't the crappy, generic kind of jelly. We always had like Smuckers or some kind of name brand.
Smuckers.
It was good. We had good name brand jelly, but we never got to pick like what kind. My mom pretty much did that because she did the grocery shopping. So I guess that's what you do when you grocery shop. You get to pick. So Smith, do you grocery shop?
I do occasionally. I try not to go too often, I guess, because I will buy things that I don't need. So
when you go grocery shopping, what are 3 items that are just like mandatory? You got to pick up when you go.
Mandatory.
Like necessity type, like I gotta have this, and I gotta have this.
At this point, it's probably gonna be like canned chicken, peanut butter, and if they would get back those frozen California rolls, that would be the next one. I'm trying to think.
Frozen California rolls, really?
Yeah.
I'd never seen those.
Yeah, they had them in Walmart for a little while I believe they were in like near the fish section.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they're pretty good.
I haven't been there in a while. Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, they're not as good as going somewhere like Tokyo. They're actually fresh. But for something straight out of a box that you just stick in the microwave,
pretty good then.
Yeah, pretty darn good. So
how about you? I don't know. I know you don't do a lot of grocery shopping.
I don't do a lot of grocery shopping.
So like, what are 3 items that you request? If your mom's going shopping or whatever, or if you end up going, what are 3 items where like those are like things you pick up all the time?
Chicken's definitely one of them.
Chicken, okay.
They have to bring chicken every week.
Okay, so chicken.
By
the way, you're talking real chicken, not like the canned chicken.
Real chicken.
Yeah, okay, real chicken.
Real chicken. fruit, apple, bananas, oranges.
So now, do you eat a lot of that? Do you eat a lot of fruit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right,
But bananas are my favorite.
Okay. I've said for a really long time, I thought that like that bananas were like the perfect food, in my opinion. They're easy to eat. They come with a wrapper. I mean, it's just simple. It's simple, easy. You don't put anything on it. It tastes good. It's sweet. I mean, it just I do. I think banana is one of the best foods. Because again, you don't have to do anything to it. you just peel it and eat it. It's good. So that's a good. So what's the third one?
Eggs and sandwich.
Eggs and sandwich.
Eggs and then the sandwich bread.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Speaking,
you actually have egg sandwiches?
Yes, I eat egg sandwiches with ketchup, mayo, the whole nine.
Ketchup and mayonnaise with an egg?
Yes.
That's bizarre.
Yes, it's really good.
So are you frying the egg? Are you scrambling the egg?
Both.
You do both.
I do both. So sometimes I just
separately. Separately, not at the same. You don't like make a fried egg and then make scrambled eggs and then
no, it's different. Each day is different.
Okay,
I scrambled or either just fried.
And by the way, I'll just throw this out there. When you make those, well, first of all, do you toast the bread or do you just eat it on regular bread?
Sometimes I toast it and sometimes I just.
Okay, so either way, if you toast it or you put it on regular bread, if you make those, if you put them in a sandwich bag, they travel really well because you can microwave them here at work. So if you feel the need to make 5 or 6, you could bring those to work.
Come on, Lopez.
You saw where I was going there, Smith. He
Of
saw where I was
course.
going. So what were you going to say, Smith?
I was going to say you reminded me of another cheap snack, cheap food. How do you like banana sandwiches? I know some people just do the banana. Some people like mix it with mayo.
I've had it a couple different ways. I like it with I'll eat it with mayonnaise. I wouldn't choose it. But it's not that it's gross. I wouldn't pick it. So, but I've had it with mayonnaise. Decent. It's okay. Have you ever had that banana sandwich with just mayonnaise and then you slice the banana up, put it on bread?
Nope. Never had it.
Now I do like the peanut butter.
Of course.
If you put peanut butter and then you put bananas on it, on the sandwich.
Try that.
That's pretty
Never
good.
tried that.
That's pretty good. So how do you have yours, Smith?
Usually banana with just a little bit of mayo. I don't like to go overboard with it.
Yeah, so I'm not a big. Now there was what was her name? There was a girl I worked with when I lived in Alabama, and she would put this was like a sundae on bread, basically.
On bread.
She'd take and this is the weirdest part. She would put mayonnaise on there, and then she would like little sugar packets because she would do this at work. So in the little sugar packet, she'd sprinkle it on the mayonnaise so like the sugar would stick, to the mayonnaise. And then in the refrigerator, she had Hershey's syrup, a little squirt kind. So then she put bananas on it and then she'd drizzle chocolate syrup and then put the bread and she'd eat it like that. It was very funky. Never tried that. So
sounds very messy.
But yeah, so see all the stuff we've just said, way better. Way better than buttered saltines, right?
Yes.
Wouldn't we all agree?
Oh yeah.
So, all right. So this is the other thing that popped into my head when I was with COVID on last week's show. Billy and I were talking about things that happened because of COVID, maybe some good things, some positive things. And we're talking about how because of COVID, you really you started to appreciate your friends, your family. You started to be a little more grateful about the things that you did have, things like that were going on. And we talked about things that you were kind of forced to do because of COVID that normally you wouldn't. So like one of the big ones was spending more time with your family, like, the family that you live with in your house. You really didn't have much choice.
Yep.
You're just kind of, stuck there, if you will. So it brought up the idea of board games. So, board games were starting to come back because of COVID. So, when nobody could leave, they started to play board games at their house, with their family and their kids and stuff like that. So I started thinking about this now. So I'll tell you mine. I'm usually leading with mine. So I'll tell you mine last. So Smith, when you were a kid, what was one of your favorite board games that you like to play?
Favorite board games.
And by the way, viewers, you can put your favorite board game in the comments.
This is a difficult one. I guess this isn't really a board game, but
see, he's always got to be, See,
okay,
you can't just give me the board game.
Okay, well,
not really a board game. Well, it's not really the answer, is it?
I don't know that I've played that many board games. I guess we played a lot of like Connect 4. We played checkers. Does Scrabble count?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I'll go with Scrabble. Yeah.
So were you good at it? I'll take that as a no.
I'm gonna say average. I mean, my aunt was sort of Scrabble. I don't want to say Scrabble obsessed. I mean, she was more Quake 2 obsessed than anything. But she would play it online against people a lot, and I think that's probably where I got interested in it.
So what about you, Jamie? What board game?
Does Monopoly count?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't remember how to play it, but Monopoly was a big one. You know, because I was curious because you guys are so much younger than me. You know, because was there a difference? You know, in age? Because again, when I was a kid, we had a lot of different board games. Now they're still around, but they're not necessarily popular like when you guys came up. Because I was talking with one of our road warriors, by the way, Felipe Tinajero. He's over in Louisiana, working hard for the dealership. But I was talking to him earlier today about this topic because I knew he might not be able to watch the show because he's working. So I was talking to him about this same topic, and it was so funny to me because he said Pokemon the board game. Which like at my age, I was like, I didn't even realize there was a Pokemon board game. I've never even seen one. So then he actually showed me a picture of the actual board. So the board game. So did you guys play Pokemon board games? Nope.
I don't think I played the Pokemon. Now that I think about it, I wonder if Yu-Gi-Oh would count as a quote unquote board game.
What is it?
Yu-Gi-Oh?
I've never heard that one either.
Well, you would essentially, it's like a magic card game. All the cards have their different stats and different abilities. You don't technically have a board. There's a sheet, which
so it's a sheety game.
It's yeah. Instead of a board, there's a sheet, and each of you have like 2 columns, of where your cards go. So there is like a board layout. It's just not a board.
So it's not a board game. That's what you're saying. It's just a bunch of sheet.
It's a really long.
Yes, it's just a bunch of sheet kind of a game type of thing going on there. Well, Scrabble. It's funny you said Scrabble because Scrabble was that was. Now I won't say like when I was very young I didn't play Scrabble. Because Scrabble you got to be probably at least 10. To be able to play. To be able to spell words bigger than house and cat and stuff like that. But once I got to be 12, 13, 14, something like that. Started playing against my mom, who was really good at words, by the way. She's very good with all the bigger words and all that kind of stuff. But she took it serious. So then it just kind of, it really basically just, kind of transcended down to us. So all of us kids and my mom, we're serious. When you were saying that your aunt was kind of fanatical about it, we're serious. Like my mom, when I go home to visit, sometimes when we play, my mom brings the dictionary. Oh yeah. Cause she's like, I don't think that's a word. Look it up. She gets vicious now when we start playing Scrabble. But it is a lot of fun. And the other one is aggravation. Now, again, you guys probably have never even heard of aggravation, right?
Aggravation.
You ever heard of it?
Not.
Okay. Yeah. So, that's an old game. I don't even know if it's still even sold, to be quite honest. The aggravation board game, but you use marbles like kind of as your game pieces, and it was a round, it was a difficult board to kind of describe. It was called aggravation. You used marbles. It was a lot of fun. I really liked playing it, so I played that a lot when I was a kid. And then this one, you don't really consider it, even though there is a board. Like when I think of board games, I don't think of chess and checkers, even though they're played on a board. See what I mean? I don't really think of them as board games, even though they are. So I played chess and checkers, and I played backgammon. I played that when I was
sweet.
When I was a kid. And you can taste the blueberry now, can't you?
Yeah, it's sweet.
See?
It's sweet.
At first drink, you couldn't quite taste it, but now he's starting to get the blueberry taste. So that brings me around. So first of all, any comments of any different games? Smith, get off your phone.
I am looking at something that's kind of. I have to show you this comment. Okay, let me just bring you the phone and then I'll.
Okay. He's going off. He's going off script. He's going off script. He's going rogue. I just wanted to let you know.
I don't know if I read it out loud. It's from Billy's page, though.
I don't know. I don't think we want to read.
No, I don't think so either.
Well, it's in the comments. You can see it yourself. I was going to sound like I just realized I had Smith's phone, but now he came back and got it. But yeah, we had a lot of family competitions with Scrabble, and we played. You guys have, I doubt. Do you guys play any type of playing cards?
Playing cards.
Yeah, I mean, do you play cards at all?
I've played Uno.
Okay.
That's basically
Lopez, he's played one game, and what do you know? It's called Uno.
Uno.
Coincidence, perhaps. So, what about you, Smith?
It's been a long time, but I've played Uno. I've played a couple of like what's like the kitty version of blackjack? I can never remember.
The kitty version?
I think we used to call it like 21 or something like that.
Well,
thinking about the right thing?
That's blackjack. I mean, is that a game you go and buy and it's called 21?
I don't know. I just remember it being. I remember them always telling us it was 21 as a kid.
Smith didn't play blackjack. He played 21.
Oh, 21. Here I go again.
See, always got to be different. See, he can't just play blackjack. He's got to play 21. So it's just, I tell you. Well, because with card games up north, and this is definitely a northern game, it was called euchre. It was EUCHERE, I believe it was, or R. Yeah, there it is. So my sister Barb put it in there. Euchre. That was a card game that was really big. Like when I entered high school, I think was really when I first started to play it. And we played it all the time. Loved it. You have to have partners to play. It's kind of hard to explain, so I'm not going to go into it. But yeah, that's definitely a fun game. You can Smith. That's a little out of that's a little off circle or off center, if you will. So you could look that up and maybe you can learn how to make up a game that's similar to that, called something different. So that way you wouldn't have to play my game. He could play his own game. Well, it's fun, but I don't really like that. I like this, so he'll change it. That's what he does. He's a trailblazer. So all right. Well, let's get to. Oh, and also did want to mention, make sure that you like Billy W. Merritt on YouTube, like his YouTube page.
Subscribe.
Yeah, make sure you like that. Subscribe to it. We have a lot of different clips about the different shows that we do. Also wanted to promote, if you haven't watched it yet. I mean, we love doing this show. It's just a lot of fun. We love doing Feel Good Friday. But if you want to see Billy a little bit more out of his element, if you will, in other words, like not really in full control, watch Wednesday's show. It's called Winning Together. It's Billy and his wife, April. It's a lot of fun. I mean, yes, it really is. It's a lot of fun. They do a segment called He Said, She Said, where it's just, kind of just bizarre questions, and they give each other's versions. So you get to hear what Billy says and what April says. And there's some funny stuff in there. He said, she said's really fun.
He said, she said.
So be sure to check that out on Wednesdays at 11 on Billy's Facebook page. And again, make sure you like Billy's like and subscribe on Billy's YouTube. So let's talk about Smith. Let's talk about some music. So you know what that means. I'm giving you the cue. So let's talk about some music. The classic. Man, that's hard to see today. It's really hard to see today.
Yeah, I probably should have checked that.
Smith, man, what the heck, man? Although maybe it's fitting because this particular album is from 1972 from a band called Deep Purple, and the album is called Machine Head. And it actually does it reminds me of my older sister Barb. It really does, because she introduced me to quite a few of the classic rock bands from like 60s to late 60s to early 70s. But Machine Head, 1972, you can't really see the cover because Smith has it like underwater in an aquarium or something like that. I can't really tell what it is. But if you look at it, the cover's kind of blurry. I mean, on purpose. That's not Smith doing it. That's actually the cover of the album. It's kind of blurry. And that was kind of the trend. I mean, in that time period, there was a lot of drugs and, things that made you have blurry vision. so see, and notice I said drugs and my sister, woo. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. Barb was, she never did that. She never did, because my mom's watching. So, but Deep Purple, again, great album, Machine Head. But here's the weird thing. There are a couple songs on there that everybody knows, even you young guys. You may not know the title of it, but it's Smoke on the Water. I know that Smith knows that.
Yes.
You may not know about the title, but the guitar riff has just been used, over and over and over. What is it? Go ahead, Smith.
Dun 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 da da. Dun, 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 dun. And all of those are 5 chords.
And he does take requests, by the way. But that rock riff is so recognizable. I mean, and it's been played a bazillion times. So Smoke on the Water is an ultimate classic. Then they had a couple other tunes on there. Highway Star. that's just a jam. I mean, like if you're a live band and you play Highway Star, you better have all your stuff together because that's tough to play. It's tough to keep the energy up. It moves really fast. It's a long song, but it's a great tune, Highway Star. And then the other one was Space Truckin'. Are you familiar with that one, Smith?
Don't think I've heard that one.
Okay, Space Truckin'. That was the one I wanted to mention. Now, people back in the day, I mean, so like if you were a teenager, you probably played every song on this album. But Space Truckin' and Smoke on the Water and Highway Star, those are they're the three singles that have kind of transcended time. But what's funny though is that this album it's on a bunch of lists, so it's recognized as one of the greatest rock albums of all time. But the bizarre thing was there's only 7 songs on here. 7. That's it.
Wow.
7 songs. It was 37 minutes long.
Wow.
That's it. So, I mean, and it's considered one of the greatest rock and roll records of all time. So pretty bizarre.
No filler, right?
Yeah. I mean, so that tells you, just what you just said, Smith, was that, every song, every note, every lyric, everything was so great. And they actually were, I did read an article, years ago about it, that they actually had 2 other songs that they were going to put on it, but they were trying to record it while they were on tour. So that it kind of kept getting delayed a little bit and they wanted to put the album out. So it was the record company that said, that's good. That's fine. That'll work. That type of thing. And kind of pushed him into releasing it with only 7 songs, but a really good album. So check that out. If you haven't heard it in its entirety, again, all killer, no filler, as they used to say on FM radio a long time ago. But Deep Purple, Machine Head back in 1972. Go check that out. Really cool stuff.
I thought that covered out when you showed it to me. I was like, "Is that Purple Rain?"
See the difference? See the difference in age? There's a big difference. That's another great album though. Purple Rain. So one of the other things I want to talk about now we talk about this a lot at work. So, and we don't really mention it a whole lot on Feel Good Friday, but it should make you feel good if you do it. So I want to kind of get into this a little bit. Is Billy and I are always constantly talking about, writing our goals down and trying to achieve goals and have goals, set goals, all that kind of thing. So I'm going to put you in the hot seat, so we talk about writing our goals down every day and making sure that we write our goals down every single day. So did you write your goals down today?
Have them in my head.
So well, the good news is it's only 11:38. So there's lots of day left.
Yes.
So you can write your goals down. So now we'll backtrack one day. Did you write your goals down yesterday?
In my head.
All right. So you lost yesterday. Smith, how about you? Did you write your goals down?
I'm definitely a couple days behind.
A couple days behind.
That
really means like 2 weeks.
Oh,
it's really, but And I was waiting when I asked Smith if he wrote his goals down. I was waiting for him to go, well, I don't really like to do it that way. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for him to be like, I really like to do it this way.
I do have a list of my current tasks sitting on my desk right now.
Yours are tasks.
Well, I do those and I try to write down the goals. I don't write them down every day, but I need to do that. But yeah, I mean the tasks themselves, like the daily tasks more than the weekly, monthly.
So that's
yearly.
really a to-do list.
Yeah.
That's not really a goals list.
Yeah.
So Smith, see, he's got to do it his way. He's like, I don't really do a goals list. I do more of a tasks. A to-do list is really my thing, is what he does. I'm like,
wow.
Well, I won't make you share because again, it's private. I've always been like that. I've always kind of protected my own. Is there a goal that you would like to share? The one that's on your list that you would like to share?
$1 million. $1 million.
$1 million.
$1 million is my goal.
So Jamie, it doesn't matter how he gets it. If he steals, robs, pillages, it doesn't matter. No, I'm kidding. So do you have you just write down $1 million? That's what you write down when you write it down. Or well, I'm sorry, when you have it up here in your head. Does you just say $1 million?
Both.
So both.
Write it down, and then sometimes it says it's in my head.
So is that literally what you write down? Just $1 million?
I want to have $1 million.
Okay, I want to have $1 million. Okay,
yep.
Smith, would you like to share one? Or again, I don't want to force you if it's private.
Sure. I mean, it's probably the first thing that comes to mind. Similarly, I would say I'd like to have at least $1,200 of passive income coming through the dividends, as well as all the other stuff. Obviously, content creation needs to be stacked with that. Just getting multiple streams of income.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing right now is the dividends, because I mean you can see it growing right before you, and there's something beautiful about that. It's a big motivator for me.
So what a difference, between the two. And that's why there's no right or wrong answer. The goal is yours. I mean, it's your own goal. So we really encourage everybody to, to write your goals down. Now, look, if you want to do a Smith and you want to do a to-do list, that's fine. It's not near as fun or exciting or anything like that.
If I don't have the to-do list,
you can do a to-do list if you want, clean the house.
Clean the house.
That's not very fun and exciting. Although I guess there is a bit of a satisfaction, I guess, when you accomplish that. If you have a to-do list, clean the bathroom. It's not exciting, but when you put the line through it, you're like, clean the bathroom. Yeah. That's Smith. He's like, yeah, I didn't get that $1,200 in dividends, but by God, I cleaned the bathroom. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. So my sister, Barb, says she has a goal to get me to Chicago. That's a very easy goal. I mean, that's a very easy goal. It really is. That's so simple to get me to Chicago. You don't have to twist my arm or anything.
They're going to be like, I pay your flight and come on. Come on down here.
Exactly. Well, I need to talk to Billy and work in Chicago.
Work in Chicago.
So fly up there and work while I'm up there, to do that. So, well, my writing down my goals. Remember, I fought this for a long time. I mean, I wasn't necessarily quite as unique and independent thinking as Smith, trying to make his own weird way or whatever. But I was like, I don't really, it's not a big deal. I had it in my head like you. Yes. And then I put a list in my phone, like in the little notes. I didn't do it every day. I mean, I just had it. I typed it in there once and I'd look at it. So I'm like, ta-da, there, it's written down. I wrote it down. I pull in my notes. And I achieved goals. I did. I mean, one of my goals before was, to pay my house off. So I did that last year. I was excited. It was, it was a great thing for me. I was proud of myself. I was happy. Certainly grateful to have the opportunity to make that kind of money to pay my house off. So that was very cool. But so then the more and more I talked to Billy, he was like, well, if you think, because I achieved a couple goals when I didn't write them down every day. So I was kind of disproving his theory, I guess, that you didn't have to necessarily write them down. So then he kind of said, well, if you think that you were achieving stuff when you didn't write them down, you know where he's going. Imagine what you could achieve if you wrote them down. Okay.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed a lot, I mean, writing down the goals and the little task sheets, at least for myself, is I just get distracted a lot less. I get distracted a lot less by spending too much time on decision making or, just wasting time on, I need to play an hour of video games to relax. Oh, I could be at work right now. And there's a list of things that need to be done. Get on them.
So wait a minute. Is playing an hour of video games, is that on your list of tasks?
No. I'm saying that's something to keep myself from getting distracted from,
okay,
though.
I got you.
Yeah.
So you don't do that.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm with you now. Sorry, I misunderstood you there for a minute. I thought he was saying he had to write that down. I'm like, wow, what a great goal accomplishment. Yes, I played 1 hour of video games today. I've done it. I've achieved my goal. Those types of things. Well, anyway, so what I was going to say was that since I've been writing them down, I'm over 75 straight days that I've wrote my goals down. So I have 6. I'm not sharing them. I never do until I actually achieve them. So I have 6 because I had 4 last year and I achieved 2 of them. So I added 4 more, so now I have 6. So I'm trying to get those done and taken out. Now, one, I can share one because I've said it before. So it's still on my list, is the 1967 Camaro. Still want to get that. So that one's an easy one to share because I've shared it before. But there's, so there's 5 others that I kind of, like I said, just kind of keep to myself, write them down every day. We'll see what happens, but we definitely encourage you, to write your goals down, to make things happen. So other things when COVID was going around, what were some things that, maybe 1 or 2 things, Jamie, that you realized that you were doing that if COVID wouldn't have happened, you would have never even thought of? You got anything, that comes to mind?
Reduce spending.
Yeah.
Don't spend.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was true for all of us.
Spend time with your family because you never know, next day they might not be with us,
Right.
They might get infected with COVID, or not, just praying that they don't. But it's just some things that you need to think about because, some families, they had grandmothers, moms, dads, brothers, sisters. They were in the hospital and they were really bad and they didn't make it.
Right.
So that's something that opened my eyes when COVID hit.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, I think it made people rethink really everything. I mean, there's so many different things that were affected by the way people did things. You know, their quote unquote normal routine was changed with COVID. Smith, how about you?
This is maybe a weird one. And not to say like be a Armageddon prepper or anything, but started definitely being a little more prepped for, shortages and stuff like that. That's really the reason that I first started, buying up all this canned chunk chicken thigh. But it's good to have a shelf full of food for a rainy day. I don't think you have to be crazy to want that ready. Just be prepared.
So what were some of the things that you besides canned chicken? What were some of the things that you thought were just like necessity that you had to start buying?
Well, peanut butter, water, of course.
So wait a minute. So were you one of those guys that, like, when I went to the store, there wasn't any water because you bought like 27 cases of it?
No.
Prepper you.
I in my defense, first off, I knew about this like way back in December, and I had already started saying, maybe it's not a bad idea when you go to the grocery store next time, instead of getting one thing of water, get two and sit one to the side. And the next time you go, get two instead of one and sit one to the side. Just get a little extra here and there. Don't go crazy.
Right.
And so by the time the store shelves were, just barren, I had what I needed sitting at home.
Yeah. So Sean overbought is what he's saying.
Oh, I done it very slowly.
Smith, the overbuyer.
Oh man.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, that, I do that when I don't want to go to the grocery store every week. So, right. I mean, when I go, I usually buy multiples of, the stuff that we eat. I just buy multiples of that anyway. So I didn't really change like as far as my shopping, I didn't, normally when I go to the grocery store, I buy 2 cases of water. Doesn't matter if it was COVID season, not COVID season, I just get 2 cases of water every time I go. And so then when COVID happened, well, then they only let you buy one when they put the restriction on there. So that was kind of annoying. I understood it. So, I bought one and went on my merry way.
But you buy one from one store and then you go to the next store, buy another water and you go to the next.
I've been hanging out with Smith. You guys were the reason. No, I'm kidding. Now the one thing that I will say, I didn't really understand how this could happen. I mean, we're in the United States of America, so we weren't in some, bizarre, poor third world country that doesn't have electricity. We're so much more, what's the word I'm looking for? Blessed, than many other countries. So, but the one thing I could never figure out was how in the world did they run out of toilet paper? They said they couldn't keep up with the manufacturing. And I'm like, really?
A lot of people, I don't know. I think a lot of people, they see toilet paper as a necessity, so they're going to buy.
Well, I can absolutely see and would agree that it is a necessity. I mean, yes, you can use other things if you wanted to, if you had to, I should say.
In
but you don't want to.
In Mexico, it would be rags.
Rags?
Sometimes rags. You just have,
Yes, I'm not doing that.
Yes,
I would if I had to. I would if I had to,
but there is different stuff you can use.
Sure,
but
that's something I've never really thought of. See, that's how we are. We're so we have everything at our convenience. In the United States, and we don't even think about the alternatives.
I tell you, every week, I get toilet paper. Every week, I buy toilet paper.
Well, see, I was that guy that I just buy the huge one. Because again, I don't want to have to buy it all the time, so I would just go and get like the big
48 pack or whatever.
Whatever. It's like $10. It's like $10. You go buy it. It's this big, huge package. It has the different rolls. A bunch of different rolls in it. So that way I don't have to think about it for a long time. And I just, I've always bought that way. Assuming that I have the money. Now, if you don't have the money, well, then you have to, then you have to kind of, okay, I can only get this. I can only get this. I can only get this. By the way, Robert Brooker, our friendly Canadian, good morning to him as well. He's up in Toronto, Yeah, I love Canada. I've never been, but I love Canada. I just think it'd be so much fun to go there. I want to go there. You ever been, Smith?
I have not. I think it would be fun.
I mean, it seems like it would just be very laid back. Like it's United States light. I know they speak French. I mean, there's areas that they speak French. So, I mean, that would be different. but it just seems like that would be the most common, the easiest place to travel them is close.
Yeah,
it's right
that's
there.
probably true.
And it would be kind of the most similar, I guess, if you will, to the United States.
I think for some of us, maybe not you, it would be difficult to adjust to the temperature. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah, you're right about that. Take these South Georgia boys.
Oh man,
take them up north. They're like, what the crap?
Can't even imagine.
This is ridiculous. You got to be kidding me. What's if you remember, Smith, that's another point. Just got kind of brought up off the cuff though. What's the coldest temperature you ever been in? Do you recall?
The coldest that comes to mind, like -2, I think.
Where was that?
I'm fairly certain.
See, he
maybe
remember the temperature, but he can't remember where.
I'm trying to remember years ago, last time it snowed here. How cold do you think it got then? I want to say it got just into the negative, but hardly cracked it. But I could be misremembering.
I mean, not that I recall.
That's the coldest I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember it ever breaking 0 here.
So
no,
I could be wrong.
I mean, I know when we had snow, because I mean, it's only got to be colder than 32, for freezing. So
right.
I mean, I know what that year when we had the snow, because remember that was when I say sizable or whatever you want to call it, not like up north, it wasn't feet. But I mean, it was enough that like people are making snowmen.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, they were rolling like the entire lawn trying to scrape it all up because it was like, 1.5 inches or whatever it was. But again, for South Georgia, that was a big deal, back then. But how about you? Was that the same kind of same time? So all right. So I'll flip it because I know you have family in Mexico. You've traveled to Mexico. Do you recall what's the hottest you've ever been in?
I don't remember.
How about you, Smith?
I don't think I've ever been anywhere far enough to get hotter than here, like upper 90s, right at 100, I think.
I was just going to say, when you said upper 90s, I'm thinking, dude, it breaks upper 90s here. I mean, in South Georgia.
No,
it's hotter than upper 90s.
It does get hot over there.
Yeah.
In the 90s.
I mean, I was curious, with Mexico, how hot it actually gets.
But sometimes in the morning, Jesus, it's cold.
In Mexico?
Yes, in the mornings.
Really?
Sometimes when you wake up in the mornings.
Okay, now wait a minute. Now, can you clarify? Can you define your temperature of like, man, it gets cold in the morning? So what kind of temperature for you is, man, it's cold in Mexico?
Under 30.
How much?
Under 30.
That's cold?
Yeah, to me.
130.
No, 30.
Oh, 30. I'm like, whoa, wait a second.
No, under.
Okay.
Because over there, you go to bed with your windows open and you wake up with your windows open too.
Okay.
So when you wake up, it's like
it's chilly.
It's chilly.
Yeah. So not necessarily cold per se.
It's chilly.
But no, you're right. No, it's cold compared to how hot it is during the day.
Yes.
It's cold there. So Robert Brooker again, he confirmed that Canada's basically, it's like a light version, light version of the United States. So you got like like light beer, dark beer. So Canada's like a light beer, basically, to do that. Hey, we're going to wrap the show up, by the way, getting closer because Lopez has to go back to work. I kind of stole him because Billy was, working, as we mentioned earlier, flying down to Florida to see some dealers. And also, speaking of dealers, if you're a car dealer and you would like to use our service, I don't mean like being on the show. You can be on the show if you want, but I don't mean like this service, the podcast. I'm talking about Billy Merritt Marketing. We move metal. Can you tell them a little bit about it?
We move metal.
That's all you're going to tell them. Tell them a little bit about it, and you're going to go, we move metal. Repeat what I just said. We help car dealers sell vehicles. We set appointments with customers. We use Facebook. We are the original Facebook marketers. Buy Back Billy that you'll hear all over the country. That is Billy Merritt. He's the guy who started it just a few years ago, and now it's kind of taken over the country by storm. There's lots of imitators, but there is only one originator, and that's Billy Merritt. Buy Back Billy. So
don't let somebody. How would I phrase this?
I don't know. You jumped right in, so I was just gonna let you finish.
Don't let somebody talk you into doing an event if it's not Buyback Billy.
There you go.
Because there's some people out there that want to say that they're with Buyback Billy, but they're not.
Well, actually, you know what? I'll add a little bit to that if you don't mind.
Okay,
you mind?
You can go ahead.
That brings up the point of price.
Yes.
Okay, so thinking, comparing things, with price. So it would be like, okay,
Smith, you said, what's one of your favorite foods?
One of my favorite foods.
Yeah.
Curry steak on rice.
Curry steak and rice. Okay. So do you want some crummy piece of crap steak that's all gross and nasty, but it's still called curry steak and rice?
And it's
or
$1.
Or do you want, top notch, high grade, prime steak?
Top notch.
That's really good. See, which one?
Even if it costs 5 times as much, top notch.
Okay. So we'll use that example. So what was it? Curry steak and rice.
Yes.
Right? Curry steak and rice. That's again, this was not planned. So straight off the cuff. So Smith just said it. All right. So I didn't come up with this. He said this. He said he would rather have the really good steak, even if it was 5 times as much. 5 times. He would rather pay 5 times as much for the good stuff. Right. Mm-hmm. So now let's talk about Facebook marketing events. You use us. Here's the good news. We are the prime, the prime top of the, yes. top of the line, but we're not 5 times as much. See, just a little bit. We're just a little bit, and well worth it. So we could be worth, if you're a Smith, we could charge you 5 times as much as some other people, but we don't. So again, you can get your Facebook marketing event, your weekly event, $79.95. Give us a buzz, or you can message us on Facebook. Again, like Billy Merritt on his YouTube. And what are the other ones, Smith? Rattle them off.
Ooh, okay, at this point, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. We are now on Spotify. We are now on Podcast Addict. And there's one, I think that's called Deezer. There's a couple more we've submitted it to. We're waiting on the Amazon Music, the iTunes, those things to actually approve us. But so, the audio version is going to be all over the place.
So we're on like 8 of them, and I know 2. So there that is, showing my not 54 but 53-year-old age there from my high school friend Chuck. Hey, Robert Brooker will close the show here. He says that curry is one of his favorite things. It's God's gift to the common man. Well, that's really saying a lot there for curry. I'd probably go with beer. God's gift to the common man. That would be my opinion. But again, it's just an opinion. So again, like us on Billy Merritt's page, on Facebook, also on YouTube, subscribe, and all those other ones that Smith rattled off. If you can't remember, because I don't even know what they are. If you can't remember, then you can go back and replay it. In the meantime, if you're going to be drinking this weekend or anytime, make sure you're not driving. Be safe out there. Enjoy the warm weather. It's pretty warm in most places that are viewing. And thanks again to our road warriors, Chad, Felipe, Joey, that are out on the road helping our car dealers sell cars. So in the meantime, have yourself a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.
See you next week.